start with sort of fitness if we can. Jurasek, what can you tell us updates from Saturday?
If still feeling some pain, and which tells us that we have to be probably more patient and probably more careful with how we treat him. It was actually a good scan in terms of not showing any clear injury or anything like that, but it tells me that, and it tells us that he's probably a little bit exhausted, probably a little bit fatigued, and that can be, from also traveling from another country to here and getting used to a new way of playing, a new way of training and stuff like that. But it tells us we have to be a little bit more careful.
In that context then, is it difficult to put a sense on that?
Yeah, it is, because when there's no clear injury for us to assess and to take care of, then it's just about him finding the right time and us finding the right time with him to be a part of the matchday squad.
Is that in the bigger picture? I mean, you talked quite honestly and quite clearly about him and the situation around him and building him up and adapting to the intensity in this league. Is that already now maybe in your mind you're thinking it's going to be back next season now and pre-season and trying to deal with these?
Yeah, but I would love to bring him in and to give him some minutes so he gets some experience and he gets some playing time with the team, and he gets to feel the stadium also as a starter, hopefully in one of the games this season. So we're not there yet where we just completely shut down this season for him and say it's not going to be this season. So we try, but we take it a little bit day by day, I would say.
Lucien Hovo, did he manage to plug back into yesterday?
No, unfortunately he felt something. He felt something in his quad and could not continue with training. So he will be out for a while, I think. Yeah, we start. Come on, Paddy. And a positive question. The next one.
Very hard.
What do we have here?
You keep hitting me with these. So, on a serious note, though, I mean, again, is that day to day? You cannot give any sense.
We will scan him and find out. But it's never really positive when a player can feel something in his quad that is not as it's supposed to be and is not what he normally feels. So, but we have to wait and see.
But just to clarify, Johannes, I mean, originally it was the knee, wasn't it? Was the issue?
Originally it was the knee.
Yeah. So it's no concerns around the knee itself.
So no concerns around the knee. So this is another injury, but yeah, we have to see what it is.
Where are we with Liam Gibbs at the minute?
In a good place. So in a place where he will probably be around the squad tomorrow. I would say he's more around the squad tomorrow to just give us a little bit extra support because we are a little bit down on or low on numbers again, and there will be some 21 players with the group again tomorrow, because I think we are 15 or 16 available first team players. So Gipsy, we prefer to have him as one of them around the squad, where it's probably not too realistic that we'll bring him on, but he's there because of course we can.
So just following on from that, is there any other lads we've not mentioned?
No, but we have to wait and see, and I also appreciate that we try to be as honest as possible. I do, but there's a couple of players we have to wait and see with if they can be around the squad for tomorrow.
Okay. Sort of don't dwell on Plymouth, because I mean you were very clear and candid in what you said after the game there, but just to give us a sense of the tone and the interaction with the players. How have you debriefed it with them? What messages did you get across?
Different ways. I think after the game I normally not say too much, especially it's actually both when we win or lose, because the focus is on something else, and players they focus on the performance and their own individual performance, and especially when you lose a game, it's probably not the moment to dig into details. So we did that the day after, and go through some things, especially around the 2 goals that we conceded, because I was not satisfied with it, and watching it back, I was even less satisfied with the situations. And the only thing we can do, and I know some will say, but then get it fixed, and when we do everything we can to fix it, because it's a lot of the same situations we concede goals from, but it's also probably the most difficult ones to train, because what is it exactly? What is it the exact moment where we don't do the things right? Is it the moment where we give the throw in away? Is it the moment where we give the second throw in away? Is it the moment where we don't clear the ball well enough in the box the first time or the second time? Is the moment where we don't push up the line well enough, don't cover the space in between us well enough? There's many moments of that, but it also goes fast, and I appreciate that it's not the most easy situation to defend, but it's not our strength at the moment to defend situations like that.
I mean, you touched on there, and also after the game, that you look at it, you've got 2 of the top 3 goal scorers in the division. So parking, obviously what happens to those players maybe moving into the summer, but when you strip away the injuries, the suspensions, the things that are in your control, is that there now moving forward your key challenge? It's retaining the control of the ball at the style you want to play, the creation chance-wise, but marrying what you're not maybe doing enough out of possession.
Yeah, I think there's... I also try to be careful here, Paddy, in what I say, because sometimes it can sound like, I blame others in the... can be coaching staff or players or whatever when I say that's... set pieces has been a theme for us this season. So I try to make it sound like, because that's really 100% the way that we work, that it's not based on one single coach to solve that problem. It's all of us, and it's 100% also the players. So I think there's 2 key things for us, and I don't think we've been good enough on set pieces. I think, for example, in a game like Plymouth, where we are on top straight after our goal in the start of second half, we have a couple of corner kicks, we have some free kick situations, and we need some output in those moments. And we've scored, I know more than 60 goals this season, but only 3 of them have come from corner kicks. That it should be closer to 20 when we are so far in the season as we are. And that's a moment for us where we have to improve and be better, also defensively. But that's not down to Nick. It's all of us, because we win together and we lose together, and all the situations in the game is also us together. And then the defensive line, we also have to look at, because it's not been good enough, and we have conceded too many goals for us to be competitive where we want to be competitive in the league, and that's definitely something we have to improve.
But because of that, you can understand that. On a day-to-day basis, what you're doing here, the things you're trying to put in place, you and your coaching staff and the players. But it's that shop window, isn't it? It's a Tuesday, it's a Saturday. That's what the fan base come and see, and they see that 90 minutes. And rightly or wrongly, a lot of it is results-driven in terms of how they take their measure of how successful or not this is happening. So, can you understand why there is that? I mean, you were obviously frustrated yourself after the game Saturday, but can you understand maybe it's hard to put a figure on how much of the fan base, but there is a frustration there that they look at the results maybe and certain elements of the performances, and they feel that maybe at this stage of the season, as you do, to be fair, you probably should be a bit better. Yeah.
Are you up for a quiz, Paddy? A little game here. Are you up for a game? Are you up for a game here?
A game of?
I give you this one. If I could say to you that we will win the championship in 3 seasons' time.
You're offering me that.
But up until that, it could be a little bit up and down. Would you take it?
Would I take it?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, nobody cares why, but I imagine most Norwich fans would take that, yeah, absolutely.
Because sometimes when you change a lot, and we have made a lot of changes, and there's been a lot of changes to both the culture and the environment, and still players, and I appreciate that also, again, some of the players, they also find themselves in a position where it's a completely new coaching staff, it's a completely new way of playing football. They have to find their own way in that. Can they succeed in that, or can't they? Which is some of the questions that we have to get answers from. And that will probably take some time, but I fully believe, and when I spent a week in the US with the owners, and to hear their thoughts about how we move forward and what we do, when I sit down with Ben and with Neil and discuss this with Zoe as well, and discuss this, how do we move forward with this club and with this team? What are the decisions we have to do this summer? What are the decisions we have to do next winter and stuff like that? I fully believe that we will be there. But I also appreciate when you are just focusing on the exact moment that we're in, and you're focusing on the exact game that we have to play tomorrow. Sometimes it can be a little bit different or difficult to see, okay, in 6 months' time or 12 months' time or whatever, we will hopefully get where we want to be. I fully believe it, because nothing that I've seen so far from the club and the decisions that we take should make me believe something different. But it can be difficult, and I understand that.
And that's clearly why it's so important today and every other opportunity that you get and other people at this club, that the messaging is consistent and everybody is on that same page, that okay, it's not where it needs to be right now, but there are elements that will come together, you hope, in time to get it to where it needs to go?
Yeah, 100%. And that's why, I always try to tell the story as honest as possible. I always try to appreciate all the fans that travel with the team and support the team, because they are a big part of it, and we will do everything we can to acknowledge them as well, especially when we, hopefully soon we'll succeed even more.
I mean, within that context, that sort of evolutionary journey that you're on now, you didn't need to state it, but it's very difficult to see a scenario now where the playoffs are a viable option this season. But does that almost on a different level free you up a little bit to maybe experiment a little bit? I know you asked about playing lots of young players down the stretch. A week or two back you said, well, no, we still need to be putting the best team out there to win games. But in this context now, would it give you a chance to maybe give a few more minutes?
Yeah, I think it was something we could consider if our situation with players available was a little bit different. I think, like I mentioned in the start of our talk today, I think we're down to 15, probably 16 available first team players. And when you're that low on numbers, then there's really no time for making too many adjustments. You have to purely just select the players that are ready and that are fit for the game tomorrow. Also considering that we play again Friday night and we just played a game Saturday. So there will also be players, no matter how they perform tomorrow, that we probably have to take off at some point in the game, because we need to focus on the next one on Friday. And again, don't have too many players available in the squad. So where we are at the moment with the team selection is more or less down to load management.
Talking of young players, I asked you about him after the game. Jacob Wright came on and showed what he's about, and you acknowledge that fact as well. And he did the post-match media, and he was asked about the situation maybe moving into the summer. He said he 100% wants to be here, loving what he's doing. You have obviously been quite clear you'd like to work with him on a longer term basis, so that feels, in terms of positivity, that there could be a successful conclusion maybe from all parties.
I'll give you as much as say that it's a far better comment than if he said the opposite. So I think we are in a position where the coach liked the player liked the club, and I think that's a good foundation for a good discussion after the end of the season. No matter he performed well the other day, he could perform well tomorrow. That's not how we deal with contract situations. Just purely down to one game or one performance. But he's in a good place, and I think he's a great player.
Just you mentioned the contracts there. Is there any clarity with the lads who are out of contract, maybe, even if it's just internal decisions have been reached and they've been communicated?
I think with some of them we are getting closer to that. I also appreciate that there's probably not the time to go into too many details about that. But of course we have some experience. We have seen this season. I've been around them for 8 months' time now. I know. I'm pretty sure that I know who I think we can extend with and who we should probably accept if they would leave or find another place to play. I think that's fair to say, but we also have to be careful about the timing.
Understood, yeah. And on that topic again, for the game Saturday, you talked about we need to find to improve this team, we have to find the right players within the right structure. But you also said before Plymouth, about the strategy, that it doesn't necessarily preclude you getting older players.
No.
Do you feel now, with all the body of evidence you've had firsthand this season, that that age and experience will have to be a weighted part of your recruitment this summer?
I think it will. I don't think it will not 100% not change the strategy, but again, let's say if we sign 10 players, then I will expect that 7 or 8 of them will be young players with a big potential, but of course also players that can do something for now. And then I think 2 or 3 of them will be players with a little bit more experience, and then probably can go directly into become a part of a leadership core group of the team, and take even more responsibility in the games for us. We definitely have someone already in the building that we can keep building on, but that's also a market for us. It's a tricky market because you obviously don't want to pay too much for a player that is 29 or 30 or 31. So you have to be really, really, both careful, but also you have to be covering a lot of leagues all around the world to find the right player for the right price and the right time.
And one follow-up there, talking of leagues and markets, do you feel it will also, within that body of recruitment, you will need championship experience in English?
Yeah, I think that's a good point. It's such a, in many ways, and this is said with all the respect, but we lost the game Saturday to a team that had 100 passes. That's a little bit more than 1 pass per minute, and that's probably also a part of the beauty about this league. There's so many different teams, but there's also teams where they play on a level or in a way that is different to what you see in other leagues, which you have to be prepared for, which you have to have understanding for what it takes to beat a team that play like that, and you have to have the experience and the knowledge and also the qualities to beat a team like that. So I think it's fair to say that we definitely look at the championship to see if there's any players available for us and that would like to be a part of the way we do things here.
Yeah, and moving on to Sunderland, and there is, in terms of a case study, everything you've spoken about today, the broader strategy that this club is now trying to follow, that is Sunderland. You look at them, they finished 16th last season. I think they conceded more than they scored, a lot of young players, and then they come to Carrow Road midweek and they're top 4 clearly in the playoffs, look like a club who are on the right path. That, for anybody who's maybe doubting this or is concerned at the rate of progress, you just have to look at maybe how a club like Sunderland.
Yeah, and well done to them, because it's a great job, and it takes a lot, because they, to be fair to them, they've been up there since probably the start of the season. So it's not just something where they've been a little bit up and down, a little bit inconsistent in performances and results. They've been up there from day one, and that's well done. That's a good job. So definitely something that we can look at and take some learning from, and see what it takes to build a team, what it takes to start. I'll not say start all over, but start in another way, in a new direction, and the time it takes and the patience it takes, and then suddenly then the good performances are there. Then you see that everything looks like it's just clicking at the right time, the right moment. And they've been a good team for the whole season and can compete with the best also, which I think it's impressive. It's not like they've just been below that group of the best players or the best teams in the league. They've actually been competing against them. They've had good results or close to good results against them. So, yeah, well done. But
that said, I mean, you go back to that game just before Christmas, and you were more than a match from that day, and again, fine margins, you just fall on the wrong side of it. So, in terms of the actual game tomorrow night, drawing on what happened up there, you can take a lot of confidence from that. Yeah,
we can. I think we did well, and I think it was a game without too many chances, to be fair, and we also didn't create too much, but we scored a good goal from a corner kick, which we hope that we can replicate again tomorrow. But unfortunately, also conceded from 2 situations with free kicks where we had to do better. One of them straight after the red card for Jose, which of course changed the game. But even then, the minutes after that and at the end of the game, it was us chasing, and we actually created some good chances and had that Ashley Barnes chance at the end of the game. So I think there was many positives. Of course, the result was not positive, but there was many positives in the game that we tried to bring forward for tomorrow.
Obviously, coming off the back of that game, subsequently there was the incident around Borja from that game.
Yeah.
Is there any part of you takes that into account tomorrow? Tuesday, in terms of sitting down with him and having a chat with him about that, or it's not something you really want to shine any light on?
No, we also don't want to put too much attention to it. It seems like, from what I see at the moment, he's learned from it, and he's a different player. He's not like engaging in too many situations like that, not really focusing on situations like that. So I think he's in a much better place, and that will be probably the focus for us, not to have too much focus about it and just consider this as another game against another team in the championship, and another one where we have to do our maximum.
Yeah, and I was going to follow up with that, because I mean he came back against Preston, he got booked that night, he's not been booked since, and there's been none of that. And you talked at the time that you sensed there was a more maturity about him. He'd understood maybe that he had to change and adapt a little bit of character. Yeah,
actually, because I think in moments, I think he's I'll definitely not say that he's protected. I think actually there's been many fouls on him, and many situations on him where probably the younger Borja and I'm saying younger, like early in this season, would have reacted differently. But I like his behavior at the moment. I like the way that he's handling these situations. He will always be a dribbler. He will always be a player where he will get knocks in the game. He will be finding himself in situations where they will do everything to drag him down or do whatever they can. But I think he's doing well at the moment with those specific moments.
Yeah, just final one from me. Obviously, Sunderland this midweek, then you go to Burnley. That's 2 top 4 sides in this division. It's basically almost the message, maybe internally, externally, just embrace this challenge now. Almost as a benchmarking exercise, where we match up, where we fall short, how much more we need to improve.
Yeah, because nothing tells me that we cannot go and compete against those teams. It will be an even game tomorrow, and Sunderland will probably also be on top in some of the moments tomorrow, but we will hopefully also be on top in some of the moments, and then it will probably be decided by who takes better care of their chances and who defends the best way. But it's an even game, 2 good teams, in my opinion. They have done better result-wise than us this season, and fair play to that. But nothing tells me that we cannot go and make a good performance and take a win. And the same when we focus on the game that we're going to play Friday night, and we will do it again in our own way, with our way of approaching the games, with our way of trying to create as many chances as possible and hopefully score as many goals as possible. That's the main approach for us, and the way that we go out there and present ourselves.